Baba is the father, and just like every parent, Baba is also concerned about his children. So, you see, if some Lokik parent is a BK, then they also want their children to understand Baba, to belong to Baba. And Baba says they are concerned about their children finding the path to Baba. But my children are those who have found me, who know me. And I'm very concerned that these children of mine, they become pure and go to the pure world, and they get a good status in the new world. So that is Baba's concern. And do you know that you cannot do anything about, and you cannot serve anybody without being genuinely concerned in their well-being. So, of course, in the world, in Lokik relationships, it is only parents who take the responsibility of serving their children. And parents are not even told that you should, no parent is told that you have to do this for the child or do that for the child. But the relationship is such that just by virtue of the relationship, the parents automatically take the responsibility, at least of the physical well-being of the child. And even when the parent comes to Gyan, then they take the responsibility of the spiritual well-being of the child, because they know this child is also a soul and they are concerned about showing them the path. And Baba says, I am, and apart from physical parents, I am your parent. And I am very concerned that you become pure. I am very concerned that you go to the pure world. And this is why I come from the pure world, and as an expression of my concern, I teach you, I make you understand, and I also caution you. Yes, so Baba is concerned that his children shouldn't fall in the gutter of Maya. So every day you see, Baba keeps teaching us, cautioning us. Every day Baba keeps, guiding us about what to do, what to be wary of. And why does Baba do that? Because Baba has a lot of interest in my well-being. Nobody would do that for you if they were not interested in your well-being. And, these days, there is this thing that people feel that if somebody doesn't say anything to you, that's a very good relationship. But if somebody is not saying anything to you, that means they are not concerned about you. Yes, so they don't care about you at all. But, and of course, maybe somebody does, so you can only be concerned as you are. So, your expression of care will be in accordance with your sanskars. So, some people, they have this expression of care where you feel cared for. Some people have this expression of care where you feel forced and you feel suffocated. But, or some people have this expression where you feel, that your liberty is being curtailed. But still, it's an expression of care. So, of course, their sanskar is not good. So they don't know how to express that care accurately. But being concerned, saying something to you, cautioning you, that's an expression of concern and care. And Baba, because Baba is knowledgeful, so he expresses his care and concern in the most accurate manner. And Baba also, so people also, when they're concerned and care, when they have care in their heart, they will caution you against many things. And Baba will also do that. But of course, Baba is knowledgeful, powerful, pure. So his expression is a little different. So today Baba says that because I care for you, because I'm concerned for you, so I tell you that for your own safety, you should protect yourself from the claws of Maya. Yes, so, and do you know that in this world, in this physical world, in this Kali world, safety is a myth. Because when you're vicious, when you're doing impure karma and you have sanskars of taking sorrow, then nobody can ensure your safety. Yes, because you are bringing trouble to yourself through your own karma, and you are feeling all the feelings that disturb you or destabilize you or upset you because of your own sanskars. So basically, in this world, nobody can make you safe because in Kali Yugi world, we have karmic accounts and we have sanskars, which are, pretty, pretty vicious. So karmic accounts created out of vicious actions, and then sanskars also that are vicious. So in Kali Yuga, there is no possibility of safety. So do you get this thing? So, you may, so I always think, I always have this thought that, you can save somebody from somebody also, but how do you save themselves from themselves? Because people are their own worst enemy. So, you can protect other people, maybe physically, even from other people or situations, but then how do you keep them safe from themselves, their own actions and their own sanskars? That's not possible. And I remember there was this one parent, and they came and they said that we have tried 100% to keep our child safe. We keep giving a good economic, hygienic, educational, every kind of atmosphere to the child. But now my child is into drugs and all kind of wrongdoing, and I don't know what I could do better. So I said, you only can, do as much as you can. You can't do more than that. So if the child is choosing to indulge in such actions, then how can you protect the child? The child has to realize, and then, the child has to think that I don't have to do this. And only then can you. So you cannot help somebody who doesn't want to help themselves. You can only help somebody if they want to help themselves. And you cannot protect somebody from themselves. This is a very important thing to understand. And I remember, there was this one brother, and he used to say that his father is into a lot of overthinking and he's getting depressed because of that. And he said, I don't want him to go into depression. So I said, but he wants to go into depression, and how can you stop it? So maybe he is not consciously thinking, I want to go into depression, but his choices are saying he wants to go into depression. So then how can you save him? You cannot save him. He has to not want to go into depression. Then he can be saved. So first generate that will and want. And if you cannot do that, then just leave him to his condition. So people are their worst enemies and their best friends. This is the law. And Baba today says, you are my children and I tell you to be cautious from Maya. So Baba says, if you want to be safe, then you have to think about your karma and your sanskar. And Maya is spoiling both. Yes, so you have to be free from the claws of Maya. You have to protect yourself from the claws of Maya. And what is Maya? So the most interesting thing that Maya does is makes you feel that some wrong karma is right karma. So Maya creates the illusion that the karma that is going to spoil your destiny or spoil your sanskar is right karma. That is the illusion that Maya creates. And Maya does that because, so that happens when you're body conscious. So, when you're body conscious, then lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, and actions coming from lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, you think they are right actions. Yes, and those actions are creating bad karma. And you see, when you think, speak, and act under the influence of vices, then you do not understand the impact of those thoughts, words, and actions in the universe. And every thought, word, and act is an energy which multiplies and comes back to you. That's the law of karma. But when you're releasing that thought, word, or act, when you're releasing that energy into the universe, and you are under the influence of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, then you don't realize that the energy you're releasing is negative. Because you think that that's the right thing to do at that time, because you are under the influence of vices. So let's say if you are under the influence of ego and you are shouting at somebody, then you think that they deserve to be shouted at. And you are not doing anything wrong by shouting at them. But then do you understand the impact of your words and your thoughts on that soul and on the vibrations of the atmosphere around you? Do you understand the karma you're creating? So I just, yesterday I was seeing somebody and they had a maid servant and that lady was cleaning the floor, and then this lady was shouting at her and saying, "Are you blind? Can't you see? There's dirt there and that's there." So I said, "You can't shout at her like this." So she said, I hired her for the work and she's not doing the work properly. So I said, yes, so it is your prerogative to not keep her at work. You may not keep her at work, but you can't shout at her. So if you don't like the work, do it yourself. But you have no right to shout at anybody. And then she said, but if somebody is not doing the work they are given. So I said, okay, even if they are not doing the work they are given, you may not keep them at work. That's what I'm saying. But just because you're paying somebody, you cannot hurt them, or you cannot, use words and acts that are sorrowful. So that is something you have to understand. What makes you think that you have a right to shout at somebody, or hit somebody with the hand, or do something which is which is having an impact on that soul, which is causing sorrow to that soul? Because you see, whether somebody is doing their job or not, they are definitely feeling sorrowful when you are engaging in harsh words and these kinds of physical violent acts. So you shouldn't give sorrow to anybody ever. And ego tells you that it is okay that when you're paying somebody, you can shout at them. No, you can choose not to pay. That's okay. You can choose not to hire somebody. That's okay. You do all your work on your own. That's okay. But you cannot hire somebody and shout at them. That is ego. They are hired for work. They are not hired so that you can push them around like a doormat. That's not what they are signed up for. But this is how ego works. When you are in anger, when you are in righteous anger, then just think about the vibrations you're creating in the atmosphere. Even if you're not saying anything to anybody, if you're speaking in anger, acting in anger, that is creating karma, that's one thing. But just think about the sanskar you're creating, or the vibrations you are releasing in the atmosphere at that time. So all that is karma, right? And then body consciousness. So, body consciousness, the biggest aspect of body consciousness is lust. So, when you are body conscious and lustful is not just engaging in the physical act of lust, but lustful perception and lustful drishti is when you see somebody as an object, as a physical object and not the soul. So, because there is so much lust in us, that's why we see people as, height, weight, skin color, and skin tone, and, we see people as, physical things, physical objects. We are not seeing people as spiritual energies. With spiritual beings, we are not seeing them like that. And do you know that if you are looking at yourself like that, because of course when you're looking at other people as fair or dark or ugly or beautiful or tall or short or thin or fat, then of course you're also looking at yourself like that. Then just think about how much you are causing sorrow to yourself, because you can never have self-esteem if you are thinking about yourself as a physical object, because your body will never be perfect. Is there a perfect body? There is none. There is no perfect body. And even if, at one stage of life, the body is maybe perfect, still, after some years, old age will set in, and then that same body will become withered and old and everything. So there is nothing worse than, feeling the sorrow of something you have no control over. So you have no control over this constantly, changing and degenerating body. And then if you think you are this, then you are causing so much sorrow to yourself. And just think about your vision and how it is making somebody also trapped in that vice of lust, trapped in body consciousness, and they also start looking at themselves as physical objects which have to be appealing and attractive and this and that. And then how much sorrow everybody takes because they are not appealing or attractive to somebody. And they don't even know they are souls. They just look at their bodies and they think that if the body is not attractive and appealing, then I'm not worthy enough. So this is causing so much sorrow to everybody. And all this is happening because of body consciousness. And greed or, attachment, that is also causing so much of karma. So with attachment, you are limiting somebody. You are not seeing the potential in somebody. You always, when you are in attachment, you want to see somebody as you want them to be. And then who they are is totally, not, it doesn't matter to you. You are not even thinking about who they really are. You're not interested in that. So Baba says that we have to understand that when we are in body consciousness and we are thinking, speaking, and acting out of vices, then constantly we are creating karma and sanskars that are going to cause a lot of trouble and sorrow to us. So I have to be cautious enough to protect myself from the claws of Maya. And nobody can protect a body conscious soul who is constantly, creating sanskars and karma that will come back to it in the form of sorrow. So how do I protect myself from the claws of Maya? So Baba says, practice how to be soul conscious. So do this for yourself. This is Baba's direction for our own safety. Just go again and again and pay attention to your state of purity where none of the vices exist in you and emerge your pure sanskars. So just know that you are a soul and you are not the body, and lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed are not part of the original design of the soul. And you're pure, peaceful, loveful, powerful, blissful. That's your original design. Please keep going back to it. Emerge your sanskar of purity. And then Baba says, keep remembering me so that you draw that energy of knowledge, purity, peace into yourself. And this is what Baba asks us to do for our own safety. And when we remember Baba, it's not just our sanskars that are, changing for the better, but also our intellects start working. And we are able to discern and decide at the right moment and, take care of our karmic footprint, take care of our sanskars. So Baba says, I want you to be safe, and the only way to be safe is to be safe from the claws of Maya. And Baba says, that is why I'm very interested that my children are connected to centers. Because from the centers, I'm always giving you this sustenance of how to keep yourself safe. So I'm sending children to centers so that they can constantly receive my sustenance in the form of teachings and cautioning and everything. So people don't realize that there is no safety possible if they do not take care of their karma and sanskars. So this is one thing. And second thing Baba today says is, we are living in a world where, it is a world of vices. And then there is this saying that the boat of truth will rock but not sink. But then why would the boat of truth rock? Because you are rowing the boat in Kali Yuga. and taking it to Satyug. So you're going against the tide. So, the tide is towards impurity, and you are rowing the boat, in the opposite direction. You're going towards purity. So, obviously, you're not going with the flow. The flow is Kali Yugi. And you are going towards purity, which is the opposite of Kali Yuga. So, you will face storms. And, uh, sometimes, people get very puzzled when we face storms when we come to Baba. Because every time, you did bhakti, you thought that when I will meet God, then my storms will end. And that is why it becomes very confusing when you start experiencing storms when you come to Baba. But Baba says, the boat of truth will rock, that's the law. The boat of falsehood will not rock. Because becoming impure in an impure world is very, okay. And everybody, even the vibrations, the atmosphere, the people around you, your situations, they will support you because you are in the tide of Kali Yuga. But then here, when you're going against the tide, then there'll be storms. So when you come to Baba, there'll be a lot of storms. And there was this one Mata, and she used to always tell me, when I came to Baba, I thought I will become very peaceful. But day by day, I am becoming peaceless because there's so much infighting going on because, I have to fight my vices, I have to fight all the belief systems, my sanskars of bhakti and everything. And there's so much fighting going on that when I go to sleep, I feel like, I used to sleep more peacefully when I was not in Gyan. So what is this? I didn't come for this. I came to find peace. So I told her, okay, so at that time it was Deepavali time, which is also very near now. So I told her, when you want to clean the house, does the house get clean first or dirty first? So you want to clean the house during Deepavali, and then what happens first? It gets dirtier first. Because all the dirt that's hidden inside has to come out. And if it doesn't come out, how will you clean it? So all this time, you were dealing with all your impurities by saying this is normal, this is natural, this is okay. You were blaming others and situations for it. So they were all, pushed under the carpet. And now when you are taking responsibility of it or seeing it, then, you are actually able to appreciate what kind of a big mess you are. And nobody wants to think like a mess or feel like a mess. But then, how do you go beyond that if you don't face this mess? You cannot go to cleanliness without facing the dirt. So all these storms are happening because there's so much of vices inside us. And we have been one with the vices all this time. But now we are against our vices, and then you realize that the vices are coming in full force. One day you pledge to yourself, I will not speak rudely to anybody today, or I will be very sweet to everybody every day, today, one day. And then you realize how many situations come in which you have to struggle with yourself to be sweet. But do you understand that you were doing the same thing every day? Those situations are coming every day, and you're creating that much of karmic account. Today, when you're stopping yourself, you realize that it is requiring effort. And it is not requiring any effort to mess up your karmic accounts, but you're doing that every day. So Baba says you will face a lot of storms, and external storms that come from other people or situations, they are easier to face, because when you cross them, it boosts your ego also. You feel good about yourself. But when you face storms from inside, when your own sanskar of lust, anger, ego, they are coming up, and then if you are wise enough to see that and you want to overcome that, you're not submitting to it, you are overcoming it, then that is a very big challenge. Because when you have internal storms, then you have two challenges. A, you have to fight this battle with your own self-worth, that I'm still worthy. And B, you have to fight with the vice. So, when you don't blame your vices on somebody else, then you have to claim responsibility of it. And how do you say, I have lust, and then you say that I'm a pure soul? They don't go together. So then first thing is, you forget you are a pure soul, and then, your Swaman becomes, I'm a very lustful soul, and then you feel so bad about yourself. But then, that requires courage, that you have to know that I'm a pure soul with this tiny sanskar, and I will overcome it. So don't make it an internal battle of self-worth. It's just a battle of vices. And you have to know how to separate yourself from your vicious sanskars and deal with your sanskars the right way. Because, again, Maya will trick you into thinking that because this sanskar is coming up, so you are that, so how can you become pure? That's not you. But then you have to win that battle. So Baba says, this is a battle, and it is not, peace doesn't come peacefully. Peace comes with war, but then not with the external war. You cannot kill people and create peace. You have to kill your vices and create peace. And there is a war before peace. So Baba says that this is why, storms come and rock the boat of those who are on the, they rock the boat of truth, not the boat of falsehood. So this is a very misleading belief system that when you are with the truth, then your boat will not rock. It will. Because you must know which water are you sailing in. You are sailing in Kali-yugi waters, so the boat of truth will rock, not the boat of falsehood. Yes, because in this world, the vibration of truth is the outlier. It's not. So, do you know that when a caterpillar changes into a butterfly, then when the butterfly cells start emerging, then the other cells of the caterpillar, they start attacking those good cells. Why? Because those cells are fewer in number. So they think this is not us. The caterpillar has no idea that my future is the butterfly. So the caterpillar cells, they start attacking the butterfly cells. So the cells which are going to change that caterpillar into a butterfly is attacked by their same cells, their own cells. And still, these imaginal cells, these cells which are there in the caterpillar, which are making it a butterfly, they're called imaginal cells. They still strive, they put in their whole effort, and then the caterpillar changes into a butterfly. So, no process of transformation is easy. We have to understand that when you are becoming Satyugi in a Kali-yugi world, the whole world and even your own Kaliyugi sanskars will be up against you. And then you have to hold on to the truth that Baba is giving you and go across. So this is also something that Baba tells us. And then Baba today tells us that there are children who are attached to their worldly possessions so much that their mind and intellect are always with that. So let's say there's a businessman with many factories and he's constantly thinking about his factories. So you ask him to remember Baba, he can't, because he's very busy remembering his factories. So Baba tells us that, you have to let go of everything that causes you hindrance in remembering Baba. So, Baba doesn't tell us to leave the world or leave the relationships or leave the work. But Baba says, when any thought is so powerful that it stops you from thinking about Baba or remembering Baba, then you have to leave that thought. And never think that that is a necessary thought. That is a thought of Maya. So you may think that your work is important. Baba doesn't say your work is important. But when your work becomes more important than Baba, so much that when you start remembering Baba, you remember your work, then leave the thought of the work. It's not important. And you have to put it in its place, because that will cause you a great loss. Baba says nothing is wrong or bad in this world. You have to be with everyone, do everything, but when it starts stopping you from remembering Baba, then don't even think a second before letting go of it. Because nothing is more valuable than your Sangam Yugi dharma of remembering Baba. Because this is the only act that will take you to the new world, the only act which will help you remove yourself from the world of sorrow and take you to a world of happiness.